Did you know that around 70% of Americans report feeling stressed on a daily basis? That's a staggering number. With so many people searching for peace and calm, mindfulness has become a buzzword. But here's the kicker: mindfulness can often feel boring, uncomfortable, and, quite frankly, challenging. Many people believe that mindfulness is all about deep meditation and serene environments. However, it's not as glamorous as it sounds. Studies show that the average person spends 47% of their waking hours distracted, which means they miss out on the present moment. So, what happens when you try to force yourself to be mindful? You may find yourself feeling even more restless and frustrated. In this video, we'll explore why boredom is a crucial part of mindfulness and how embracing it can actually lead to deeper awareness. You'll discover unique strategies to turn everyday chaos into opportunities for mindfulness. Plus, we'll uncover surprising truths about how accepting imperfections can enhance your practice. Stay tuned as we dive into the paradox of boredom, the power of mindful distractions, and how to find peace in the mundane. By the end, you'll see that mindfulness is more than just sitting still. It's about being fully present in life, no matter how boring or chaotic it gets. Chapter 1: The Paradox of Boredom. Why stillness feels uncomfortable. Let's be honest, mindfulness can feel painfully boring at times. We crave action, distractions, and constant stimulation. But here's the thing: boredom is actually a key feature, not a flaw, of mindfulness. According to research, the human brain is wired to avoid discomfort, and boredom triggers feelings of discomfort. That's why stillness feels so challenging. But what if I told you that the secret to mindfulness lies in leaning into that boredom? In the book The Power of Boredom, author Mark Hawkins argues that boredom is a gateway to creativity and deeper reflection. He says, boredom is where the magic happens. When you allow yourself to sit with boredom, you create space for your mind to slow down. A study from the University of Central Lancashire even found that people who embraced boredom in mindful activities were more likely to come up with creative solutions afterward. So, how do you embrace boredom instead of avoiding it? Strategy number 1: start small. If sitting in silence for 10 minutes feels impossible, try just 1 or 2 minutes at a time. This teaches your brain to accept discomfort in small doses. Over time, you'll notice it gets easier. Strategy number 2: label your discomfort. When you feel boredom creeping in, name it. Say to yourself, "This is boredom." It sounds simple, but labeling helps you distance yourself from the feeling instead of letting it control you. Here's a fascinating fact: neuroscientists have found that the brain's default mode network becomes highly active during periods of boredom. This is the part of your brain linked to self-reflection and problem-solving. So, by getting bored, you're actually sparking your brain's natural creativity. Chapter 2: Rewiring your brain for mindful distraction. Is it possible? Distractions are everywhere: our phones, social media, the 24/7 news cycle. The average person checks their phone 96 times per day. So, how do we practice mindfulness in a world full of distractions? Here's the surprising answer: don't fight the distractions, use them. Mindfulness doesn't have to mean complete stillness. It's about being aware of where your attention is going. Strategy number 1: practice mindful distraction by being fully aware when you get distracted. Instead of mindlessly scrolling through Instagram, notice how it feels. Are your muscles tense? Are you slouching? By bringing awareness to these small details, you're practicing mindfulness even during distractions. In his book Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about habit stacking, which you can apply to mindfulness. Strategy number 2: pair mindfulness with an everyday habit. For example, while waiting for your coffee to brew, notice your breath or observe your surroundings. You're already doing something, so it's easier to bring mindfulness into these micro moments. Here's an interesting fact: neuroscientists at Harvard found that practicing mindfulness for just 8 weeks increases gray matter in the brain's hippocampus, which is responsible for learning and memory. Even in a distracting world, Mindfulness can reshape your brain. Chapter 3. Mindfulness in the mundane. Unlocking Zen in everyday tasks. You don't need to sit cross-legged in a quiet room to practice mindfulness. In fact, some of the best opportunities for mindfulness come in the most boring, everyday tasks. Strategy number 1. Turn daily chores into mindful moments. Washing dishes. Focus on the sensation of the warm water on your hands or the sound of the running tap. You'd be surprised how calming these small moments can become when you give them your full attention. Thich Nhat Hanh, a famous Buddhist monk, once said, "When washing the dishes, you should be washing the dishes. If you're thinking about anything else, you're not really washing the dishes." This might sound overly simple, but studies show that being present in everyday tasks actually reduces stress. A 2010 study from Harvard University found that people spend nearly 47% of their waking hours thinking about something other than what they're doing, which leads to less happiness. Bringing awareness to mundane activities can help reduce this mind wandering and improve your well-being. Strategy number 2. Use your senses. Engaging your senses is an easy way to snap into the present moment. While folding laundry, notice the texture of the fabric. Walking to work. Tune in to the sound of your footsteps or the feeling of the air on your skin. These simple acts ground you and help you experience mindfulness without needing to meditate for long periods. A fun fact, researchers at Carleton University found that people who practiced mindfulness during routine activities like brushing their teeth or commuting reported higher satisfaction with life. It's a reminder that mindfulness doesn't have to be reserved for yoga classes or meditation retreats. You can find Zen in the simplest, most ordinary moments of your day. If you're enjoying these tips and insights, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content on mindfulness and personal growth. Chapter 4. The Art of Imperfect Mindfulness. Why you'll never get it right, and that's okay. Here's a truth you might not want to hear. You will never get mindfulness perfect. And that's totally fine. In fact, the pursuit of perfection can actually get in the way of being mindful. Jon Kabat-Zinn, the creator of the Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction (MBSR) program, once said, "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." Mindfulness isn't about eliminating distractions or thoughts but learning to accept them without judgment. Strategy number 1. Embrace your mistakes. When your mind wanders, and it will, simply notice it and bring your focus back to the present. No judgment, no frustration. Just recognize the wandering and refocus. The magic of mindfulness lies in this return to the present moment, not in staying there perfectly. Here's an interesting fact. Studies show that even experienced meditators spend about 47% of their time distracted during practice. The difference between beginners and experts is that experts are better at catching themselves and refocusing. So, the next time you feel like you're failing at mindfulness, remember, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. Strategy number 2. Let go of expectations. Often, we get frustrated because we expect immediate results. But mindfulness is more about the process than the outcome. It's a bit like going to the gym. You don't expect to see muscles after one workout, right? The same goes for mindfulness. You're building mental muscles, and it takes time. Another fun fact, a 2019 study from Yale found that people who practiced mindfulness reported fewer negative emotions and were less likely to ruminate on stressful situations. However, the benefits took weeks to emerge. So, be patient with yourself and let go of the need to get it right. Chapter 5. Mindful Escapism. Using fantasy and daydreams to your advantage. It might sound counterintuitive, but letting your mind wander can be a path to mindfulness. Daydreaming often gets a bad rap, but it can actually serve as a tool for mindfulness when done with intention. Research from the Georgia Institute of Technology shows that daydreaming can improve creativity and problem-solving skills. Strategy number 1. Use mindful visualization. Instead of forcing your mind to stay in the present, allow it to drift on purpose. Picture yourself in a peaceful place, like a beach or a forest, and engage all your senses in the visualization. Feel the warmth of the sun, hear the sound of the waves, Smell the salt in the air. This form of daydreaming helps calm the mind and brings a sense of peace, even if you're not present in the traditional sense. In her book The Miracle of Mindfulness, Thich Nhat Hanh suggests that mindfulness is more about being fully aware in whatever you're doing, whether that's reality or fantasy. He says, mindfulness isn't about getting rid of thoughts, it's about learning to see them clearly and without attachment. So, daydreaming can be a form of mindful escapism when you're intentional about it. Strategy number 2, turn wandering thoughts into mindful awareness. When you catch your mind drifting, don't try to force it back. Instead, acknowledge where it went and explore why. Was it stress? A creative idea? A worry? By observing your thoughts without judgment, you're still practicing mindfulness, even when your mind is wandering. Here's an interesting statistic. A study by Stanford University found that people who regularly practiced mindfulness had higher levels of creative thinking and problem-solving skills. So, the next time your mind drifts, remember that a little daydreaming can actually boost your mindfulness practice. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Join our community for more tips and insights on living a mindful life.